again is why follow up. So first thing is, and the first thing I want to bring to everyone's attention as to why follow up is so important is simply the fact that right now, folks, in the current job market environment we're in, it's highly competitive. It's a highly competitive market that we're in. And follow up needs to be seen as one of your strategies, one of the strategies in your arsenal in order for you to stand out amongst the competition, right? Because there's so many individuals right now on the marketplace, right? Given this, and you know what, guys, I'm not trying to dig up the negativity regarding the pandemic and stuff like that. But look, the reality is we are in the midst of one of the worst pandemics or whatever you want to call it, in at least in my lifetime. I've never experienced anything like this before, right? Maybe some of you, who might be who might have had the privilege of living longer than me or have experienced something like this similar. But this would be, at least in my lifetime, one of the worst pandemics I've ever seen, at least in my short time on this planet so far, right? So because of all these mass layoffs, right? Mass layoffs going on. A lot of you, unfortunately, have been impacted by these layoffs, right? And that's why you're on the market and looking for employment. So a huge inflow or influx of available talent, right? Now you don't need to take my word for that. When you folks are applying for opportunities on Indeed, on Monster, if you're in the US on Dice, if you're in India for Naukri, I believe. Whatever, a Monster, right? Workopolis. For those platforms that show you how many applicants are, you're going to see hundreds and hundreds of applicants, right? Hundreds of applicants, and not only just on the application stage, but even after you've gone for an interview, and the organization just has so much inflow of talent, right? So much inflow of candidates that are interested in working for them, that you can't just depend on one meeting, folks. Right? Just look at it from a statistical standpoint, right? And I'm no math genius. I'm not saying I'm a math genius or anything, but statistically, does it make more sense for you to depend on just one point of contact, like one meeting, right? And just depend on that? Because keep in mind that you're not going to be the only candidate this organization is going to be meeting with, folks, right? You're not going to be the only candidate. That's the reality of the situation. Whether you're being represented by a recruiter, whether you're applying directly and you get the interview, you're meeting face to face, you are going to be one of many candidates that the organization is going to meet. And it only takes a couple of days and a couple of other great candidates for them to completely forget about you. Maybe not completely forget about you, but get distracted by these other, fantastic candidates they might be meeting as well, right? Because keep in mind, right now, there's a huge amount of talent on the market that you're competing in. So high levels of competition and follow-up will help you stand out. Because here's the thing, most individuals are not going to be following up, folks. Most people and this is based on my experience as a recruiter working in the recruitment industry prior to, this coaching thing I'm doing right now. For 8 years, I was doing recruiting before. Most people, most job seekers do not follow up beyond maybe one or two follow-up contacts. Most people give up after one or two follow-ups, right? So what does that tell you? That tells you need to continuously follow up, right? And you need to stay in there. So again, you can stand out amongst high levels of competition, right? So that's tip number one in regards to why you need to follow up. High levels of competition, high levels of available talent on the market. And one of the ways you can stand out is through strategic follow-up, right?